Welcome to the Booked and Busy podcast. I'm Khalid Bryan, broker and owner of the Investment Property Gurus. And here with me, we have Jazmine Menders, one of my hardest working agents. Hardest working and most consistent agents. Thank you. Welcome. I appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk to me on Booked and Busy podcast. Indiana helped me name it. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. I did. I was very proud. Oh, hold on. Let me cut on my little on air sign.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, because it's here.
We're on air.
We are on air. Okay, cool. So I guess the first thing I really want to talk to you about is when you first came in as a brand new agent, because you weren't with a brokerage before you came here, right?
Right.
Okay, so you came in and I gave you what I thought was a pretty stressful situation, like a client and deal, and you closed it effortlessly.
Oh yeah.
So your first deal, was that the duplex? That was a duplex?
It was the triplex in Miami.
That's crazy. So your first deal in real estate was a triplex.
Yes.
And you closed it flawlessly.
Oh, thank you.
How was that experience? Was it overwhelming at all, or?
For sure, it was overwhelming. But before I start, I do want to say I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're together having this conversation. I mean, I was so inspired when I found you on Instagram. I was like, look at this black man working hard, making big deals, and making changes. So
I appreciate you.
I'm definitely so happy to be a part of the team. It's such an honor.
That's what I go for. I really want people to feel like they're a part of something.
Yeah.
You know? So thank you for acknowledging that, because it's reassuring to me. You know.
Right.
I appreciate you.
Absolutely. So first of all, starting with COVID, I got my license during COVID.
Okay.
And so that was a whole process in itself, because I was also pregnant.
Really?
Yeah, I was pregnant with my fourth. I have twins, and then I have that are turning 9. And then I have a 6-year-old, and then I have a 1-year-old. So I was pregnant with a 1-year-old.
Doing all of that.
Yeah.
I wish I could
homeschooling.
That's
and
crazy.
Homemaking. It was a lot. And then just the shutdown was just right?
Yeah.
So
that's the biggest thing I noticed from that was because I have agents that have no kids. This is probably all they do, and they have hard times figuring out and grasping certain concepts, like writing contracts and interpreting what a listing agent is asking of them.
Yeah.
Especially showing properties, and you're showing properties at random times of night. You would call me at 9 p.m. I'm like, you're on a showing right now. So it's crazy. I had no idea you were pregnant during this time. You just did such an amazing job with that.
Right. Well, I wasn't pregnant during the time that I signed under the brokerage. This was during when I got my license.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, but I was I went to the class. I was because at first, I was how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
I'm homeschooling, because my children have been homeschooling before the pandemic, but I was homeschooling. It was a way more stressful time just because of everything that was going on in the world.
Yeah.
But I was I was determined to kind of because I had always wanted to be an agent. So I was I'm determined to see this dream come into fruition. And so I was this is the time. This is the perfect time. I'm not going out as much. I'm not spending time with family and friends. This is the time.
Because you're locked in. I get that.
Yeah, exactly. So I was I want to do the 1 week.
Yeah.
It was a lot, but I was I'm going for it. If I'm gonna have this time, 1 week is the time. I don't want to stretch it out between evenings, because my mind is I need stuff to be pouring in this quickly.
Yeah, that's just the crazy part, because I recently had my first baby. I have one baby, and I have a very hard time sitting down and doing one thing. I told myself I want to read more. I can barely get one chapter down. So the fact that you were able to get through a full online real estate course, finish the book, study past that, then study for the state exam and pass that, it speaks volumes on your abilities as a realtor. Because it's so interesting, because I didn't know that, and it ties right into me talking about how you came in as a brand new agent, and you're outpacing the most seasoned of agents.
Oh, thank you.
Of course. So that is interesting. Okay, so I guess what would be your secret to getting motivated and staying consistent to do the things you want to do while having the kids with their own needs and demands and wants?
That's a good question. I would say for me, it's about scheduling and also making priorities. So setting my priorities straight in every day. Okay, what's a priority for me?
Yeah.
And mainly for me, when I start off my days, I'm okay, my children are obviously a priority. My husband, my family, that's a priority. And then fitting in real estate, because real estate for me is like a vessel that I can pour into. That's like me, my personal thing.
It's your
like,
thing.
Yeah. Like me and my husband have been doing it together. Like this was a dream that we kind of like worked on together, in which I did want to make point. Like that's how I was able to do the week thing with the 3 children at home and pregnant, because he was working from home, virtual work. So it worked out perfectly, and he was just like taking care of the children and doing all the things that I would normally do, so I could focus on it. So having that strong support really helped. But like just having like a good structure, like okay, scheduling out things. And in the beginning when I had that big deal, I was like all over the place. But I'm like, this is important. I'm gonna make the time. And it's so funny because my son, my 8-year-old, who's about to be 9, he was like, Mom, if you want to do something, like he's talking to me like I'm talking to him. Like you got to make time for it. And I'm like, you know, like children giving with like just like insight.
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy that he would give you such adult advice like that. Yeah,
right.
that's mature.
Like make time for it. So it's just about making time, making my clients feel like they are a priority also. Like if they call in, even if it's not like an ideal time for me, like just picking up, letting them know, like just like how you are for me. Yeah. Like whenever I call, I can get through to you, and it's like so important. Good. And that's why I chose this brokerage because I'm like, it's an intimate, small boutique brokerage, but I knew that I would be able to get that hands-on learning that I wouldn't have gotten if I got with a big brokerage, because I heard stories. Like that was the stories, and it wasn't like people weren't calling me, and I'm like, how do they get my number? Like people are prospecting you. I just heard you got your real estate license, like hitting me up through emails, hitting me up, and I was like, nah, I'm not going for that, because something about that seemed like it was just about the numbers. Yeah, it usually and something is. And about this group was like, no, this is more intentional. This is something that I want to really be a part of. And so I was like, this is the one that I'm going with.
I think that was actually a test question on the broker's exam. Like, I think it was like, what is the main priority of a real estate broker? And it was all like, I think one of the options were like, I could be wrong on this, but I think one of the options were like sell properties, find clients. And then the number one was recruit agents. Like that was the answer. And I was like, oh, wow. So it's just a role switch. So I appreciate you noticing that, because that's definitely where I try to like strive, because it's like, to open my own brokerage, like, okay, so what's your thing? You know, like I can't say I sell the most. I can't say I sell the biggest or the nicest, but I can say like, okay, we're the smartest. You know, like we go the distance to like make sure we take the time to care and like learn. So that'll be our thing. We'll we'll be the go-to resource in real estate. So I appreciate you on that. Right,
absolutely.
Yeah, okay. So that's cool, because like going back to how you say your husband like helped with your, that's kind of the role I'm in right now, have being like a new dad, because my wife, she just became a nurse. Wow. You know, yeah, so it's like she's finally living her dream. So it's like, all right, I could do all this at home. So I'm the remote working at home, got the baby around, like she's on all my Zoom calls and everything.
Love that.
So yeah, so I'm excited. And I'm just glad that like my agents, like I know all of you, because like you all are like part of like the family. Like you guys were there when I was like in NICU when I had the baby. So yeah, I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too. It's definitely important to have like a good, strong village.
Yeah.
Especially like in parenting, it's kind of like we can't do it on our own. There's no way. Yeah. Like even if we think we're doing it on our own, like really it's like it takes a whole group of people. Yeah. Even if like those people are like people that you can like call whenever you're just going through something emotionally. They may not be physically there, but like just having that sound like group is important, because my family, my real support is in Georgia. Yeah. And like me and my husband are here. He has a few family members here, but really it's just kind of like, if I need someone, I have to pick up the phone and call, you know, but it takes a village. It definitely does take a village to raise children in the future.
I guess, that's for sure. And like speaking of like you and your husband coming from Georgia, you also were like you manage Airbnbs too, right? Like you were a vacation rental manager. Yeah. So you kind of already had like this like insight on the real estate business before coming in. Yes. Because I was trying to think like, how is she so good with kind of like literally the first contract I gave you to like fill out, I'm expecting you to call me and get on FaceTime so we can like go through it together. You're just like, here you go, I did it. And I was like, oh well, let me look through this, and it was just right. I was like, what's going on? So how was that experience? Like, do you still manage vacation rentals today, or are you trying to like do that as a profession, like vacation rental management?
Yeah, in a way, because we just closed our first investment on our own investment property, just at the beginning, and that's huge for us, because it's like it's a duplex. It's something that we've been working towards for a long time. So to be at this point, it's like, okay, celebrate and be in the moment, and it's really a big deal. But yeah, with that, we have been sending strong on vacation rentals, because the return just looks higher than these long-term renters, and that's kind of like how we why we went into it. And it's like a quick and easy, seamless. Like you're dealing with people on it's like rapid turnover, so it's easy. Just like as long as you have like housekeeping and those things like in place, then it can be like a really seamless. And we just have been using like vessels through like Airbnb and things like that.
Okay, so you like come up with like a lot of systems, I'd imagine, to keep stuff like that going.
Yeah, because we rather be like completely hands off of it. Like we want to be kind of like see the financial gain, but kind of be like have as much hands off as we can, like as possible.
I get that.
Yeah,
it's all systems.
It is.
It's all systems. That's what I'm learning, like building this brokerage, like. Because it's one thing to get up and it's like, all right, what are we doing today? And it's like, okay, I got to train agents, I got to do this. But it's like, I'm like, okay, so there has to be a right and wrong way for every little thing to get done. So writing a contract, this is the right way to do it. Doing a showing, this is how you do it. So, all right, that's good. And I can see how that helps with your consistency. Because like I'd imagine you got random calls with different repairs, different like things they need cleaned. This wasn't, I don't have tissue. Okay, that's
right. So you got to be able to answer at random times of the night, or just be available to an extent. But then I did appreciate from the last podcast that you did with the other agent with Indiana, like talking about setting boundaries and stuff like that. And if y'all haven't watched that video, make sure y'all go back and go watch it.
It's a very good video. Inspirational.
Yes, very good. So it's like setting those boundaries is also important too, just so that you can be able to function fully.
You know what? That is an interesting point, because I do remember a time where you just seem so stressed. I'm like, where are you? You're like, I'm trying to get into this lockbox. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock. So I had to like tell you, like, look, I get it. Like, cause you're so consistent. You're just so eager to get it done.
Yeah.
So it just seemed like if a buyer was ready to see something or wanted to do something, you were like, where are my shoes?
Yes.
So I remember I told you, like, yo, just calm down. Like, don't let them stress you out. They will drive you out of this business with anxiety.
Yeah.
And also, like, I've had a situation like that. Indiana's been like that. Like, my wife had to tell me, like, when your phone rings, it's okay to miss it. Like, I'll be in the shower and I'll like drive out like it's reggae. So I definitely get that. Right. I mean, how have you been with that? Like, did you get better? You feel like setting the boundaries?
That is such a good question, because honestly, right now, I have been going through a lot of different shifts. So I'm about to be 30 on the 16th, our birthday that we shared.
We're birthday twins. I was going to say that too,
Yes.
Birthday twins.
So I have been going through like a lot of different shifts. And one thing that I have been struggling with is with anxiety.
Yeah, me too.
So mental health is something that I'm very strong on. So therapist is on speed dial at this point, just so that I can kind of like get to a good balance.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot going on in a lot of shifts. So with a lot of shifts, and I want to keep up with everything. Like I don't want anything to fall through, especially when I'm dealing with important things in my life, like raising a family and real estate. And those things are really important. I didn't want anything to fall through the cracks. But subconsciously, I think I wasn't just really paying attention to how my body was processing everything, because I wasn't. I was just like going.
Yeah.
And just to like take a moment and kind of like, okay, pause. But in my pause, sometimes I get in this space where I'm kind of like, I overthink things. So I get stuck in that pause thing. So it's just really about like finding a good balance, like being okay with like not having everything done all the time, like being okay to reach out to others, like those type of things. And like I said, therapy is something that I've been that has been helping me with my anxiety.
Therapy has been like on my to-do list or wish list for the longest time, just because like I too deal with anxiety. Like, so here's an example of like things that I've gone through. So there will be times where I have a bunch of deals that are just going wrong, and then like I have like financial stress that I'm like, I got this to pay, and then I got, this person not feeling good. So I will be driving and I would just blank out, and I would blank back in, and I'm in the completely wrong city. So imagine I'm in Fort Lauderdale, which is the top of Broward County. I'm driving home to Pembroke Pines, which is like the middle.
Right.
And then I'm driving, and then I'm in Aventura.
Wow.
Because I'm just on the highway, just in my head, just, you just drive on autopilot sometimes. So I'm like, okay, that was weird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, whatever. Maybe I'm hungry, I didn't eat. And then it happened again. And I'm going the other way, and I'm like, I'm in the wrong city. I'm like, why does this keep happening to me? And then like it happens at home. I'll be home, I'm walking, I'm chilling. Next thing I know, I'm in the kitchen. I'm like, what am I doing here?
Right.
So I had to like really set back and be like, there's way too much on my plate. So I'll just decompress. I'll just have to put the phone down. I'll just have to like lay down and take an off day. Also, there's days where I'll have a large to-do list with a lot of things to do, and I just cannot bring myself to do any of it just because there's like one thing that's just been laying, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, so I can't do anything else.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult. It's definitely difficult being able to. And I feel like with my therapist, one thing that was really insightful for me, what she gave me a really good tool was that, because she was like, so how was your week? How was your week? So we had a session, right? And then it was kind of like, we came back in and she was like, so how was your week, or how was the last 2 weeks? And I was just like, honestly, I don't remember.
Yeah.
And it felt so crazy because I'm a person who believes in being present. Like, I love taking breaks from social media. I love taking breaks from my phone. It's something that gives me less anxiety.
Yeah.
But she was like, okay, but if you can't really recall what you've been doing or how your week has been going, it's a sign that you're not really mentally present. And
yeah.
I was like,
you're just coasting. You're just coasting. That makes so much sense.
And I was like, wow. So she was like, you know, doing things like journaling and breathing, doing those type of exercise would really help you to kind of be more present in the moment and feel the things that you're feeling. Because real estate, like you said, it's so many different things that are going on in this process. So, and like, you've been doing it for so long, you really have a lot of experience.
There's cycles of emotions.
Yeah. So it's like to be able to kind of like you said, decompress, turn off and switch off and just be like, okay, let me just be in this moment right now, just so that you can be there for your clients, because that's ultimately, we want to do good by our clients, you know, at the end of the day.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of like the best way to like get this, what I'm trying to like my point out. I have like, there's a lot of traumas that come with real estate, you know? So I'm not sure if like you've experienced anything like that yet, but like you'll have like these like super like hell deals where it's like you're stuck, you're in it, you're under a contract. Another thing that, so imagine if that's coming on, but then you have a brand new client and they're excited. So you have to switch off stress mode and turn on perky happy mode. And then this client wants to call to like yell at you. So I'm gonna yell back, you know. So now we fighting. So I'm fighting over here, and then I got this handyman with a problem, and the client want me to yell at him. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna yell at. So it's you kind of lose like track of what your true emotion is for that day. Like I've often had days where I'm just like, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm excited, I'm like miserable. I'm like, I'm gonna cry with you. I'm gonna be your shoulder to lean on, and like you just. It's just a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. Sure. And then in that mix, you have that one client that's just like giving you all types of hell. So definitely real estate trauma is like, I don't know if there's like therapists that specialize in real estate, but there should be.
That'd be a good niche. For
it
sure.
Would, like,
for sure.
We should make a website for like realtors that need help, because like I was telling Indiana on the last one, like I've had like racist sellers, I've had like sellers like extort me out of deals, like I've had all types of like issues. So I'm glad you brought up the topic of therapy, because like a lot of people need to know that it's okay, because at first I was all like, ain't nothing wrong with me, I don't need a therapist. But then like as you like really zoom out and look at like how you were that week, and then especially if like I'll go to the gym and I'm like, okay, I feel good, it's a good day, I woke up early, I worked out, had my espresso, and you remember like, wow, I was once like this, I was once just as happy, and you realize the days you haven't been. So thank you for touching on that and bringing up the whole therapy situation. More people need to do that. Okay, new question now. Okay, so I want to know how you deal with, because you're a full-time parent. Yes. That's a job. Yeah. You're a full-time realtor. That's a job. Yeah. You are a full-time teacher because you homeschool your own children, which is another job. Yeah. How do you keep, because kind of to tie myself into it, so I'm the broker of the Investor Property Gurus, and then I have the AV Club Studios, and then I'm a dad, you know? So how do you deal with a issue I have is you'll feel like you're doing great in one job, but then you're letting the other ones fall behind. Yeah. So I imagine, do you like have that issue at all where it's like you feel like you're letting the kids down, or you're letting like somebody down in the group of the things that I gotta hold on? Yeah, how do you juggle all that?
Yeah, that's a good question too, Khalid. I'm just like, I've gotten to the space because perfectionist, so I'm one of those ideal perfectionists. Like, I want things to look a certain way, go a certain way. So being able to release that hold of the control and perfection has helped. Being able to kind of like give myself grace in a space that I'm not like holding like or doing what I think other people or that group of. So for instance, like, I might feel like I'm like failing as a mom one day, like because I'm like, oh, I haven't been able to really sit down with this child because I have multiple children, right? I get that, right. So, but if I talk to that child, they are not feeling what I'm thinking that they're feeling about me. Yeah. So sometimes being able to be like, okay, that's my reality. Like, what I'm thinking isn't necessarily the reality of how everything is going. And being okay to be like, okay, give yourself grace. Like, if you cannot hold space for this client at this moment, just schedule out some more time for them. If you can't hold space for your child at this moment, make sure that you're able, like, so just be flexible and be kind to myself is really what I, especially as a mother, like, we compartmentalize. Okay.
Yeah.
So many different
Nailed it.
so many different things. So it's kind of like, okay, being okay to understand that I'm not going to be able to be everything for everybody all of the time.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm watching you and I'm like, you're doing such an amazing job, right? I think that you do an amazing job with, like, juggling your fatherhood, with juggling being a broker, with juggling handling the studio. Like, just the outside looking in, it looks like you're doing a phenomenal job. It's so inspirational.
Yeah.
Like, you're a really good influencer when it comes to that. So it's kind of like, absolutely. Like, be proud of the work that you're doing and just understand that if you can't, people are still going to be supportive of you. People are still going to love you. And I think that was a major thing for me that I had to kind of like, okay, it's okay. People understand. They know. They see what you got going on. Like, people understand at the end of the day because we're all human.
I get that.
You know?
I get it. Because for me, it's crazy every time someone tells me, wow, you like you're doing great, or wow, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm looking at like, are you sure? Like, are you serious? I feel like I suck, you know? So it's, and I feel like a lot of people go through that, especially in a business like real estate, because you're used to, I did a good job, I'm going to get a good job. Like, you know, like someone's going to say, good job, you did great, like reward. So in real estate, you can do an amazing job. You could spend months, days, wake up early, go to sleep late, and do everything right. And still you can go months, weeks, days with no reward, or even things are worse than when they started. So it's like, do you ever feel like you're just spinning your wheels? Like,
Absolutely. Because I feel like that's just like real estate is so similar to parenthood. Because like, you're doing things on a daily and you're knocking down all these things. Like, you're taking care of literally human beings, from feeding them to wiping their, like, doing all of the things, and you're not necessarily getting a thank you. Like, you're not getting that appreciation immediately. You're not seeing that reward immediately. All you're hoping is that, you know, like, all of the steps that you're doing will one day lead to something amazing, right? But you just gotta have like that faith, like, okay, I'm doing the work, I'm doing the things that I need to do, hope and pray that, you know, that it'll just turn out eventually well. You know, in the end, you know, and understand, I guess this also comes back down to, like, knowing your worth. Like, being able to have that conversation. You have to, like, be able to tell yourself, you're doing good. Like, I know that in the moment, because one of my love languages is acts of service and words of affirmation. So I like to get that immediate, oh, you're doing a good job. Like, that's just in me. I appreciate hearing that. But in motherhood, you're not always hearing those words.
That's true, because they're used to it. This is, like, how life is to them.
Exactly. And the world isn't necessarily valuing that either. Like, the world doesn't always, Mother's Day is special, you know, but the world doesn't always value this space that I hold. And just understanding, though, but being able to be that solid rock for yourself, like, no, I'm doing a good thing. And at the end of the day, I feel like when you go through those struggles and you're doing all that hard work and days without getting that gratification immediately, when you do get to that moment, it's like the best. I'm like, when I closed, it was like one of the happiest days of my life. It always is.
Every closing day, I'd always drive to the title company singing. Like, you know what I'm saying? All the just like, we got it, closing day.
Right.
Definitely.
It's like and so it feels so much better when you kind of, like, got to work for it. You got to work for it, and then you feel the rewards, and it's like, yeah, it's important.
Yeah, I get that. And the way that, like, ties into, like, other realtors is because, like, it's not even about, like, even if they don't have kids per se, just their clients. Like, you can wake up and show them every single house they want to see and put an offer on every single house they want. And then they're just sitting there like, what's wrong? Why can't I get it? And you feel like it's because of you. Like, you always, like, I would always blame myself that they haven't found a house yet. But really, like, that's just how it is. It is hard. It is hard.
For sure. And even like, sometimes you get underneath the contract, or you go on the contract, and then something happens. Yes, I did it. Right. And then you're celebrating, and then something happens, and you're like, okay, well, dang, what did I do? What could I have done differently to get this deal, you know, through? Because sometimes they fall through for different reasons, inspections, different decisions come up, and it just doesn't go the way you had planned. But just being like, no, it's okay, the next one will come. Like, it's real estate. People need homes out here.
That's true. It's a thing. That's true.
People need homes out here.
That's true. But this has been a journey.
Yeah, it has. It definitely has. But then I feel like consistency definitely makes a big difference. And also, like, one thing that I heard you say before is kind of like treating every client equally. So those clients that are coming with big checks and also those clients that are coming with smaller checks. Like, treat them like them finding a home is important. Like, you know, that's a huge stressful time of someone's life, finding a property, even if it's not investment, like just to live in. It's a huge stressful time. So treating each person like this is important to you, you're a priority, and like just like you're important.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like that's the biggest, most important trait of a realtor can have is like patience and understanding, because like people are coming in here ready to buy a house, but they really don't know the stressful roller coaster they're gonna go into. So I really feel like the worst thing you could be paired for in a stressful moment like that is a salesy realtor, a realtor that's just here for the check, because they will drop you quicker than that.
You're right.
And you'll be stuck. You know, you'll have to start all over. So I feel like it's important that people like see that there's realtors like you out there that can really like sit with them, understand what they're going to, understand the situation, and really guide them to the best course of action, even if it may be not purchasing this home. Because I've seen you have situations where they get into a contract and you're helping them get out of it, you know, just because that's what's best for them. So it's really important that people see that there's realtors like this out there in the world at the Investment Property Gurus.
That's right.
Yes.
The best team.
Yes. So, okay, so I guess what would you say, like, do you have your goal set out for where you'd like real estate to take you this coming year, or like what you like to focus on, or your niche, or like what do you
I know I think that I do definitely have some goals for real estate this year. This upcoming year is big for me. Like I said, I'm approaching 30, and to me it's a big deal. I'm like, 30 is a big deal. I'm looking forward to it because of the fact that, like, for so long, like, I'm very intentional, like focusing on setting a strong foundation for my family. I have been a mother for 8 years, going on 9 years. So that has been my core, like, foundation. And I feel like I've gotten to the point where I've set such a strong foundation there. Like, leading up for real estate, I want to start really focusing on really building relationships. And really holding on to those relationships and really taking real estate to the next level. And also, for me, what I found, like, that's really important is, like, with equal housing opportunities, like, I would like to focus on, like, families getting homes, because I was looking at the numbers on the computer the other day, just like how the population of black people here in Florida, which is like 13-15%. And then out of that 13-15%, only like 42% actually own their own homes. So kind of wanting to get into the space where I can kind of like move that needle and really focus on really helping build generational wealth. I don't feel like real estate is the only way, but I feel like it's a major pillar in like generational wealth, passing down to the next generation, because I think like that. I'm a mother and your father, and that's how I think, like, for the future, not just for like this immediate gain. And that's also why I've been so kind of like patient with my real estate process, because I'm like, I look at real estate as a long-term goal. I'm not looking to get in, get out, quick money. I'm not looking for that. So that my first year has been going the way it's been going. I'm like, I'm in this for a long time. Like, I'm taking my time, learning everything that I need to learn in order for me to sustain this. You know, I want to sustain this. I want to pass this on. I want to be making big deals. Big deals.
It's what you started with, which is amazing. Amazing. Because I'm telling you, like, when people come in, their first deal is usually like a rental, like a small rental. So to come in and close a triplex out the gate without much help, like, I literally just answered a couple questions and then you showed up.
You were there.
But you was on the ground. You did it, you know? So, okay, I forgot my point. I had a really good point to make, too.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's going to come back. It's okay. It's okay. Where my point went? It's okay.
Can I ask you questions? Okay.
Oh, see, this is the two-way.
This is a two-way thing? Okay, good. Because I was like, you asking all these good questions. Should I be
white chocolate
doing the same? Right. Okay, so my question for you is kind of like, what made you decide to start with the brokerage? Like, what made you decide? And I know you've answered this question probably 1,000 times.
I haven't, actually. That's the interesting part. No.
Wow.
Okay, so the Investment Property Gurus. So at first, I was just a generic realtor at locally owned brokerages. But that's because my goal was always just to kind of watch how a locally, like an individual owned brokerages ran, and then run my own. So first broker, he sold the brokerage, because larger brokerages, as they see you get to a certain number, they'll buy you out to absorb your team. Like, usually around like 40 agents plus, they want you.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big check out here.
Wow.
So he sold the company. I didn't want to go to the big brokers that bought them.
Okay.
Second brokerage, that broker died. and his son took over, and it was just weird. I ain't like it.
Yeah.
So then, like, because I'm always doing social media marketing and I have a YouTube channel, another broker in Wisconsin, Milwaukee's in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Another broker in Milwaukee wrote me saying, hey, I want to open a brokerage in Miami. I want a partner. You'll be perfect because I need somebody on the ground. So I'm like, yeah, let's meet. We met at Starbucks. We talked. He paid for me to upgrade to my broker's license because it was like $200, but I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And then we just started what was Brian Orange Group, LLC at the time, because he was Orange Ave Realtors and I was Khalid Brian. I just wanted to have my name on it. So it's Brian Orange Group. It went on, but then what ended up happening was, like, it was just... He was a great guy, but I just didn't feel the benefit of having a partner because it was just me doing the exact same thing I was doing before, but now with less help because I'm the broker now.
Right.
So I just figured out how to maneuver. I figured, okay, if I have a problem, I'm going to go to the board. The board is who I go to. So if I need training, I'm going to go to the board. Okay. So like, okay, I got something here. Yeah. So after a while, like, it just wasn't working out because, like, I would make a certain amount of money, but then because it was just me, I would lose money, and then now I need it back, so I don't spend it.
Right,
you know, so we broke up.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, so what am I gonna do? I need to focus. My plan was to go back to another brokerage and try again. But then I was like, no, like I'm here. I can do it. Yeah. So I ended up saying I'm gonna focus on working with investors because I did property management for like 2 years.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I liked that whole mathematics. Like, I'm good at math. I really like the whole logistics and the whole research and going outside and talking about numbers. So I'm gonna focus on that. Yeah. So when I was with my previous broker, we was like, okay, we need a tagline, and it was like, all right. Like, we were thinking, like, we were gonna do "We Will Move You," you know, we were gonna get a moving truck, put that on there, "We Will Move You." Wow. But then it was like, all right, no, what if we're the investment property gurus? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I like it. I like it. So I was like, we should just name ourselves that. And he was like, nah, it's too strong. It's too strong. I'm like, it's too strong. What you mean it's too strong? We should name ourselves that. Yeah. So we didn't do it, and then when we broke up, I was like, hey, I still like that name. Yeah. Can I have it? He said, honestly, it fits you more than it fits me. So I was like, I'm keeping it then. Yeah. So I opened it. I actually called the board. Wow. Before opening, I said, this is what I want to name my brokerage. Like, is that okay? Yeah. And then she was all like, I mean, it's a very, like, impactful name. So you'll have to, she said it. She's like, it's a very impactful name. So you'll have to, like, really be over your agents to make sure they know what they're doing. Because basically we're, like, telling the public, like, we specialize in this. So that's why I'm always so, like, we got to be learning. Yeah. Because as soon as something goes wrong, they're going to be like, first of all, like, the name is going to be the first thing they bring up. Like, you know. So that is why we specialize in just learning and being the smartest. Yes, I love that. And then I actually had my friend make the logo. Who made that logo? He made the AV Club logo. He made all my logos. Wow. Yeah. That's what's up. Shout out to Emmanuel Swayze Mac Brown. Nice. Lyrical by Design on Instagram. Lyrical by Design. He makes great Instagrams, and he spits straight bars. Like, I did a freestyle for him. I didn't do the freestyle for him, but like he sat right there and recorded his freestyle, and it is on Instagram. Okay. On the AV Club Studios soundcheck. Yes. Yeah. Nice. So nice. That's how amazing. I got there. Yeah, but honestly, I just try to, like, I'm the type of person, I'll have an idea and I just run with it. You know? So, yeah, that's good. That's really good. I want to get back to that. I feel like in the beginning, that's how I moved. It's like I felt something, I'm going for it immediately. Yeah. And then I just got to the space where it's kind of like I overthink it. I get in this process, I'm like, and then I just get stuck in this thinking process. And I'm like, that's good that I have a broker. And even I was talking to my husband the same way. I'm like, it's good that he moves on the same accord. He be like, he has an idea, he goes for it. Yeah, I'm a writer. It's like inspiring. Yeah. It's good to, like, he is too. He likes to write journaling. Things down. Yeah. And it's like that helps to kind of like actually help you to check off actually see yourself checking out your goals and everything. Yeah. But I want to speak to what you said about this name being strong, because I definitely feel like it's a strong name. Yes. Because even I call up and people hear investment property gurus, they're like who what? Huh? Yeah, it's not. Like, see, it's a thing. Yeah, it's and they're like, what are you trying to do? And I'm like, oh no, I just have a renter that I'm dealing with. They was like, oh, okay, the name is such a. I thought you were trying to invest, or I thought you were trying to purchase this property. And it's so good. It's good to have strong names, though. Because those are the names that people remember. You need validation. That, too. Because I realized when in my first brokerage, it was Rowan Realty. His name was Chip Rowan, great guy. So I'm on my first ever listing presentation, and I don't know how to do a listing presentation. I just know the holy grail. If you're a realtor, what you want to do is get on the listing presentation. So I'm like, let's do it. Yeah. So I get there, and I'm just totally unprepared. I'm just there with like my little satchel, my little carrier bag, and my shirt tucked in. Like, I'm ready. Listing appointment. So I sit down with them. They sit down with me. It's a whole family, and we just looking at each other, and I'm like, so. I'm like, so y'all ready?
Right.
But they start asking me questions, and I'm like, oh, there's questions, so I just wasn't ready. So I said, well, they said, what company are you with? I said, I'm with Rowan Realty. And they're like, what's that? Like they just saw like, okay, the goal is to have them ask you less questions, because my theory is the less questions they ask, the more confident they are in you. So when I say I'm with the investment property gurus, you feel weird asking what's that, because it's clear what it is. You just hear me, so they feel like they should have heard of that. So it's just one less thing for agents to worry about when they're trying to get in the door, and it's like they feel like they have like a team behind them. Like you're not moving alone now.
And it's definitely a heavy name. It's definitely a heavy name. Like you said, it's kind of like, in a kind of way, it's kind of intimidating, because you feel like, like you say, it comes with a team. That's what I was going for. I want you to like feel kind of uncomfortable thinking you can get over on us or something, Like, Do you feel like you have influenced like so because you have realtors coming up underneath you, we come to you with questions, from simple questions to complex questions, and I don't think that I've ever asked you a question and you've ever been like, I don't know the answer. How do you manage to keep up with all of the laws, all of the things, like how, like, from contracts, laws, so how do you manage to do all those things, like learn, and you're like, it's like off the top?
So honestly, I guess I finally understand the concept and the importance of experience, because like I've just been in so many deals. I've just experienced all of it. So it's like when something happens, like that happened to me before. And then when something new happens, I'm like, hold on, let's figure this out together. So I'm gonna call you right back. So then I'll figure it out, or I'll say you figure it out, or call me back and let me know. So like that's literally how I do it. But I think the biggest thing is I try to always put myself in like new experiences. So I joined YPN because like every year or every month I'll try to make sure I'm doing something bigger than I can't be complacent. I can't, if I'm here this year, I can't be here next year, because otherwise I didn't do anything, so just being there, and like I'm hearing these new talks and what they're going over, and like it's really just being in the loop, networking. Which brings me to a point, like my views and how I network, and kind of I guess how I move as a professional. So on Netflix years ago, I saw a documentary called The Black Godfather.
I saw that.
You saw that?
That's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. What was his Clarence Avant?
Yep.
Boom. Okay. So I just watched his career, watched his life, and I'm like, Michael Jackson's talking. I'm like, everybody's talking to him. I'm like, what does he do? And it just seems that he was just a very helpful person. He was just knowledgeable about everything. He cared about others' needs before his, and don't play with him because he'll cuss you out. So I was like, that's pretty cool. So I just kind of took myself out of the sales world of it and just put myself into it as a person in the real estate business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that's Khalid. Everybody knows Khalid. So I don't really care to make money anymore. I also care about the relationships, because I've been in here so long. So I'm watching people entry level, I'm helping them find like a cheap rental, then they come back and buy a big house. So that's why I got to treat everybody equally thing, because you never know. These are like the most unlikely people coming back buying like multifamilies. In fact, one of my biggest clients was actually a referral from a first-time home buying family that I worked with, and it took me and this family 3 years to find a house. 3 years, just because like it was just, the market was just that crazy. And it's interesting because when we started shopping, their budget, like we were looking for like $200,000 and we were looking at 3 twos. So then the next year, now we're looking, okay, 250, we're looking at 3 twos. They're like, all right, we got 300, we're looking at 3. So it's like literally the longer they took to buy, like the higher. It was just so interesting. But like the point is, like, a lot of other realtors after like a couple months of like, this is too hard, I'm not finding nothing, you guys are wasting my time, get out of here. But I like literally, I watched their kids grow up and trying to help them find a house. I watched their family grow and helping them. And then I finally sold them the house. It was a very stressful deal, but we got it done. And then a random referral comes through and it's this huge buyer, you know? So you never know who knows who, or like, so it's like the gift that keeps on giving. So I just try to just help any and everybody in whatever I can, even if I'm not standing to make money off of it. It's just one more person in the world to say that guy's all right, you know? Or like when, like, you never know where you're gonna be and they're like, oh, I remember him, he helped. No, let him through. So that's literally how I move and how I do everything.
That's a really good point.
It's like planting seeds. I'm not expecting to make like 6 figures or 7 figures like this year. I'm expecting to have that one agent take off and then another agent takes off and then like all my agents are doing great and then that's how I'd rather
that's a good point, because even with dealing with people who have Section 8, sometimes I'm looking on the MLS, I'm not really finding anything, right? And so I'll reach out to people that are out on Zillow and things like that, and they're like, okay, but we're not giving a commission. So then I'm like, okay, all this work that I've done, but it feels good because now at least I've led you to where you need to be. And then I can get a good review.
I've done that.
I can get a good review, especially if I treated you well, treated you like you were important, because you are important at the end of the day. This is important. And so, like, being able to have them, like you said, be able to say good things, kind things about you. And then other people see that and they trust you more, they want to work with you. So definitely relationships are huge.
Yeah, sometimes a good review is worth more than whatever the commission would have been because somebody sees it and they come to you. Yeah. So, no, definitely.
Exactly.
I love it. Yeah. All right, and I'm excited to see this new 2023 because you're going to focus on first-time home buyers and helping families get into houses.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's going to be great. Yeah. That's going to be great. We should put on like some like educational first-time home buyer seminars, like something like that. Like we should like look into like different programs because so many people call me asking about these like grants and first-time home buyer programs, and I know very little about them. Like very little. So
I'm still learning for sure. I'm definitely still learning.
It's a lot.
It is
it's a lot to like go into and learn. So I think that'll be what we'll do. We'll work on being a resource for the first-time home buyers.
Yeah, and even like there's so many resources for people who are kind of like in like the heroes, like so
hometown heroes.
Yeah, hometown heroes like nurses and teachers and firefighters, police. They get a lot of money as well, like just because of their position, just because of their career. Yeah, and it's a lot of grants out there for them, and I feel like not everyone knows that. Yeah, it's a lot of money for sure.
When you said firefighters, it reminded me because I have a firefighter I sold a house to who then referred me to his police officer friend.
Wow.
Both of them for a couple of years bought a different house like every year or two. What? It was very interesting. Wow. So it's like you never like think about things like this, but it's like it's very important that once you close a client, like follow up with them because like, oh, good to hear from you.
Yeah.
So like he bought one, renovated, sold it because Florida market.
Yeah.
Then he bought another one. Then he referred his police friend, and then he bought this huge house. I'm like, police officers do it like this,
right?
You know. So then now his dad's coming. He's like, all right, I want to buy this one with my dad. So definitely like, just
that's amazing.
It's the best thing is when like you get multiple clients from that one, and I feel like that's bigger than any marketing strategy. So that's why be a good person, you know, just like put the people first. Oh, last question before we get out of here, because I just always wondered and wanted to ask you about the whole, because you're you teach your kids, like you're a teacher. How do you like keep up with that, being that they're on different age levels?
Oh yeah.
And I'd imagine different topics and subjects. Like how do you?
That's a good question.
How does that work? How does that work?
That's a good question. Okay, so I mean, I curate my children's curriculum, so we're not like associated with any school curriculum, or we just kind of like wherever they need, I kind of go along with there, and that's what I love about homeschooling. Yeah, because I can be intentional and timely with that child. So I have my third grader who's on a level of a fifth grader because of the fact that if she's ready, you know, I'm just gonna take them along the way, and if I have something that they need to like focus on in one area, I'm kind of just focusing on it and taking the time that it needs so they can have a strong foundation. Yeah, and so with dealing with multiple ages, I'm just kind of like going around the table. I said, because I have the third graders, they're two twins, they're working together. So I'll focus on their subjects that we do math together. So we start off with the schedule of the day, and we're kind of like, okay, so we're going to do math, we're going to do science, we're going to do language arts, and we're going to have time increments where we work on those things. So I spend a certain amount of time on these children or this child, and then I kind of just like turn my time around.
So they have time blocks.
Yeah, time blocks. That's a great way of putting it.
Okay, so it's like one's doing something while you're talking and teaching to the others. Yeah, who can do something
independently, work on some independent work while I'm teaching a new concept maybe to the other child or children. And then we have a cutoff time, so we're done by 12 o'clock. Okay. And so after that, we do our lunch, and then I'm like, okay, now, and then my youngest goes down for his nap, and that's typically when I do my classes on the MLS.
Because you got to keep time for Jazmine. That is crazy.
And it's been so good.
About it. That's so good. Wow. Okay.
But it's been so good because like when you were like, use this resource, these are classes that you can do during the week. So I'm always looking, okay, what's available after 12 o'clock that I can jump on. And sometimes it's right at 12. I'm like, okay, so I really need to make sure I'm done by this time. And sometimes it's 1:30 and I'm just getting at least like one class that is a live class that I can like interact with the instructor and learn something new, take my notes. And that's been really helping. That has been.
Do you plan to like start a school, or are you only doing this for your kids and when you're done, you're done?
Yeah. pretty much.
That thing. Okay. You're done.
That part.
Okay. All right, because I was gonna say, like, the fact that you're good at teaching, like, I happen to realize that teaching is an important skill. So, like, I really feel like that would be very beneficial, especially being that you work with first-time home buyers. Everything's new to them, so you have to teach them the whole progress.
Yeah.
So I think you should, like, develop like a first-time home buyer boot camp or something where, like, they sit with you. They're not ready to buy yet, but they want to buy, and you just tell them, here's how the process works. You're gonna talk to a lender. You're gonna do this. Like, it's basically the new buyer consultations. We did it, but you're just rebranding it.
Yeah.
I think you should do that.
I
think that'll be the best way to get people into the door, and I want to help you do it. Let me know.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'm excited.
Thank
okay,
you
cool.
for that. Like, you come off the top. You just like my husband do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do y'all think like this? I'm still processing this. And you're like, no, but we got to keep moving.
Yeah, I write things down.
He has that same bracelet.
Which one?
VI. And that's another thing that you.
Oh, we're both from the Virgin Islands.
My husband.
Your husband.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Well, he isn't. His father is.
Yeah.
So, like, bloodline.
Yeah, my
VI.
father's. I grew up here too.
Oh, okay.
I lived there for like a few years, but then my father died, and then I moved here.
Okay.
Because my mom is born and raised in Miami.
Oh.
My dad's born and raised in the Virgin Islands, but then he met my mom when he came to Florida for Florida Memorial.
Wow.
Flomo. They went to Flomo. Yep. So that's where they met. Yep.
Nice.
So that's my story.
Yeah.
But I am. Do you? Okay. Let's talk. Okay.
What?
So my goal for this year is to do more in-person things, which is why we're doing this here. You know, because like we've been straight virtual, like since because we came in during COVID. You know, so I want to do more in-person things, and then you're gonna do the first-time home buyer boot camp or class or whatever you're gonna call it. Do you want to do that in person or?
Oh, you said in person.
Yeah, in person, or do you want to do it like here, like you could record it and then put it out or do it on live or something?
I think that would be a good idea. I have to think about that, but I'm thinking
it's yours, so you let me know.
Okay, I'm thinking maybe here and then put it out.
That's smart. Okay, so yeah, so
maybe.
And then you'll do like little drops and then start a YouTube channel geared towards first-time home buyers, and then we'll do lives every now and then, like monthly lives, something like that. I like it. I like it.
that
and
too.
Then we'll do the in-person things because we got to do the in-person thing.
We definitely have to do the in-person. Yeah, because I got really complacent in that space where I'm like, first, like I said, I was taking my classes at home. Yeah. For my week thing, I was at home. I did even my state at home. Like they want you to take a picture.
The state is really
during COVID. Wow. I'm sure they switched it up.
Yeah.
But they like you gotta take a picture. It was like a whole thing. Take a picture of your surroundings.
Really?
Make sure you can't be talking at all. They want to see the camera on the whole time. And I'm just in there like, because I had a good thing. I had like an office space where I can kind of like focus because it's 100 questions and everything.
Yeah.
But now things are shifting, and it's kind of like reminding me it's good to make actual connections with people.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this virtual world, it makes me kind of like, okay, I can just be in my PJs. I can just be like chilling.
I'm the same. Like I had to catch myself. I'm like, okay, you're getting a little too lax. Like one time, I think I was in a Zoom class and I had to catch myself because I was drinking a beer. I was like, you on camera, you know, like I got 2 calls. So I'm like, all right, this needs to stop. Like I need to get better. I need to like, you know, get back outside. Absolutely. And I also like I thought about like, okay, if I was doing exactly what I'm doing now, but just out there and like in public, I probably would have been a lot farther because I just would have made more connections.
That's
and
true.
Like, because sometimes I'll feel bad when I can't make it to something like, because being part of YPN, part of my obligations, I have to go to these events. So it's like, it's weird that I done joined, went to this first orientation, and like, you know, I have to be on the scene. So, so I'm just, I don't want them to be talking about the events they done went through, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, I ain't did nothing this year.
Right.
So, yeah, but I appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely. Really I'm so happy that we are starting this. I'm definitely, I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Season 1.
Season 1. This
was a great podcast. Oh, tell Jazmine, how can they reach you? Because I'm sure a lot of people want to buy their first home. A lot want to find a rental. I want to find a triplex, and they need to reach you. So how do they reach you? Instagram, Facebook, number?
Right now, I have taken like a huge, like I've taken a cut back. I told you on my social media and everything. Yeah. But coming to 2023, I am already making intentions to kind of like get back out there just so I can make other connections beyond just like my physical circle reach. Yeah. So I am on Instagram at Realtor Jazmine. Okay. That's the handle. I am also working on a website so that you can be able to reach me there. But then also my number is already on Instagram. The links for my calendar is on my Instagram as well for now. Okay. And I also have Facebook.
Okay. It's important to note that she's Realtor Jazmine with a Z.
Yes. With a Z.
With a Z. Okay, so Realtor Jazmine with a Z. Just say your number so I can like put it under you.
Okay,
like,
305-900-0355.
Boom, I'm like, flash it. I'm going to flash it. All right. This has been Booked and Busy Podcast. I'm Khalid Bryan.
And I'm Jazmine Menders.
Jazmine Menders. We are Booked and Busy, and we will see you in the next one.
Yes.